Well, finally, the last chapter of Oshi no Ko is here, and we get to see how it all ends. Last chapter we saw Aqua's funeral and the effect it had on everyone who cared about him, like Kana, and especially Ruby. As for how Ruby handles this loss, we learn about that and more in this chapter. Since I don't want to sound like that yapping frog girl, I'm just gonna get started with explaining the chapter now. It opens with some random girl standing on the same bridge Aqua saved Akane, with Akane herself continuing the narration from the last chapter. She even begins by talking about how this is a world filled with thoughts about dying. Interestingly enough, that girl on the bridge now kinda looks like the same idol Aqua recruited at the start of the manga, using Nakaru's name. I'm not sure though, as she could also be someone else we see later on. Anyways, we can see Akane picking up a magazine of Aqua as she continues to narrate how it's impossible to live without sadness. The world feels completely dark, with no hope for tomorrow and no space for dreams. In a world filled with such people, Ruby kept on crying. It's here we can finally see Ruby's full grieving process. Of course, Ruby cried more than anyone else, shedding tears non-stop. She's thrown up and everything, even ripping an eye poster in her room, which is crazy even for Ruby. But that just shows how much pain she's in right now. I really do like how Manga expressed her suffering, but in the end, Ruby still stood up. Even still, without being able to sort out her feelings, without anything to save her, and with all the pain and sadness she was carrying, Ruby began to run. Manga did these expressions amazing, by the way, because the art really expresses how even though Ruby has found the will to stand back up, she's still carrying so much pain inside while she moves forward. Like Akane says, they choose to live. I'm also fairly certain Akane is also standing on that same bridge where she almost died too, which makes that line much more impactful. Then we can see that it seems Memcho has decided to take a break from her own channel duties until Kana barges in to confront her. Even with tears in her own eyes, Kana tries to motivate Memcho to keep moving forward as well. Akane also narrates how they also chose to search for the meaning of their lives while occasionally remembering Aqua, and we get a really sweet panel of Memcho and Kana hugging Ruby when they finally reunite. We then see Frill and Minami sitting together at a restaurant like they're waiting for someone. After returning to the entrance, they smile, most likely due to Ruby coming out to meet them for the first time in a while. Our last look at Melt is also him running forward with tears in his eyes, like he's using the memory of Aqua to run to the future. Underneath the text where Akane says it's not easy, we can see Memcho leading a depressed Ruby away from the reporters, being held back by Kana. Our last look at Taiki is also just him standing at his family's grave. I wonder if he's come to terms with his family's own tragedy. I just really would have liked to see at least one interaction between Ruby and Taiki though. After all, for Ruby, Taiki's the only blood-related family member left who would care about her. As for Miyako, it seems like she was also depressed as well until Ruby spoke with her. Ruby desired to move forward, and we can see Miyako and Ichigo were able to as well. Kana still hasn't completely gotten over Aqua yet either, as it seems like she breaks down while on set. I don't know if she's acting, but Kana was still able to wipe those tears away and regain focus. This did remind me of Aqua's PTSD moment during the Tokyo Blade arc, where he collapsed for a second after seeing Goro. That could have been what happened to Kana here. Finally though, we can see our narrator, Akane, who's on some variety TV show it seems. A zombie shows up, but it isn't enough to scare Akane now, and she doesn't even react. She even takes the fake knife off the zombie's head and is then reprimanded by her director it seems. I thought that goes to show how Akane might have become more serious after Aqua's death and all the things she learned during the Karu case. At least she was able to move forward too. Like Akane says in her narration, if they continue to believe if they do their best at what they can do, then they'll find a reason for living. To go along with that line, you see a girl looking at a poster for Bikomachi auditions. Although what it says in the advertisement is kinda bait, because no one's gonna surpass Ruby as the #1 star in Bikomachi. Even Kotanda continues onwards, as it seems he's working on another project with his award and a picture of Aqua in the background. What's interesting is that a few panels have those film strips around them, so I wonder if that has anything to do with the film Kotanda might be making. Putting that aside though, Ruby kept on moving forward, hiding her sadness with lies behind a smile. You also get our last look at Ruby's dark starring gun, as Akane narrates how Ruby brought out the darkness in her heart when she needed it, and used everything she could in order to carry on with Aqua's dream. As for the rest of the world, they interpreted the tragedy that happened to Ruby as a drama. They would become captivated by the story of Ruby, as she became someone who no one could take their eyes off of. That was until finally, the day Bikomachi, who were led by Ruby, were able to perform at the Dome. The day everyone's dream, including Aqua's, came true. We could see Ruby performing on stage with Memcho, and the new member who had replaced Kana. Apparently, Ruby continued to lie about not being sad, which ultimately led her to this moment at the Dome. Kana and Akane are there watching, as you can see that there are actually multiple new girls in the group. With everything that happened, it must have been a tough process selecting new idols to join the group, and fit in perfectly. I also like how this really clarifies that Ruby's just straight up lying to herself that she isn't sad. She really is just hiding her pain behind a smile. Yet, by having the willpower to lie and act happy, those lies give something to someone who struggles in the darkness. Like perhaps the lone girl watching in this panel, who might actually be the same girl we saw at the start of the chapter. She even mentions God here, and I really thought we were going to have some reveal for the Crow Girl here. But instead, this girl is able to awaken her own Staringon, as she says that Ruby must have been born to shine light in the darkness. Perhaps because of Ruby, maybe this girl here might become the next big idol. At the same time, the narration says Ruby's like a star in the night sky, which shines brighter the darker it gets. Then we get this brilliant double spread of Ruby on stage, pointing to the stars, while smaller stars seem to cover the audience. Everyone is overjoyed, like Memcho and Ichigo, who seem to be crying tears of joy. I guess this panel here with the two stars could symbolize Ai and Aqua, as the two brightest stars, lighting up the night sky above Ruby, like they're watching her from above. From there it cuts to 5:30 in the morning at Ruby's place. Unfortunately, it doesn't say how much time passed since the dome performance. Ruby wakes up though, saying how she's got work today. She explains how she has to tell lie after lie, because no matter how tough things get, she has to smile and have fun on stage. But with that said, being an idol is an incredibly fun job for Ruby. Looking at a wall with items related to Ai and Aqua, Ruby tells them to watch her, as she's heading off towards the future illuminated for her by her mother and big brother. Then in the final panel of Oshi no Ko, Ruby says she's heading off now, as she heads out the door on her own, into the light. That's how Oshi no Ko ends. While it may not be the ending many people might have wanted, I do think it is a satisfying conclusion to the story. All the people associated with Aqua were able to move on with their lives, even Ruby. Aqua may have died, but he was able to help all the people he cared about in some way. He had a huge impact in giving Kana another chance to push forward towards her dream of being a successful actor. He helped pull Ichigo out of the darkness by reconnecting him with the Miyako. Aqua even played a role in allowing Miyako to be a good mother to him and Ruby. Even for Akane, he had saved her life and managed to keep her out of danger with this planning. Of course, Aqua ultimately sacrificed his own life so Ruby could fully embrace the second chance of life she was given, allowing her to become an idol who can shine brightly. It's like the door theory came true in a way, with Aqua staying with Ai while telling Ruby to stay back on the other side of the door. Aqua was able to die in peace because he was able to complete his mission he was given a second chance at life for. His goal in life was to protect his own sister, and he succeeded every step of the way, from the moment they were born to the present. Protection that even transcended a lifetime, as he was also there for her as Goro too. Now Ruby can safely walk outside on her own, into the bright future illuminated by Aqua and Ai. In a way, this also ensures the cycle of lies continuing with Ruby, as she has to hide her immense pain and suffering behind a smile. Every day as an idol will be filled with lies, just like it was for her mother. I had hoped her lies would come true, but until then, she lied with everything she had. It really is like a full circle moment coming back to one of the major themes of the story, which is being able to show love through lies. Even though Ruby is broken on the inside, she can at least shine brightly for those in the darkness, and at least this is something that she loves doing. Essentially, Ruby may never completely get over the loss of Aqua and Ai, but it is also thanks to them that she can still move forward in this world. It is pretty tragic though, as she's the only living member left of her family, a family cursed with tragedy and suffering. It started with Ai telling a lie to Hikaru as a form of love, and she was eventually murdered because of it. She bled out from a stab wound caused by the man she loved. The pain of Ai leaving Hikaru turned him into an instigating murderer, and he had to live with the knowledge that he was the one who caused Ai's death, leading to him being killed by their own son. Aqua was killed as Goro by Ryosuke, got traumatized for failing to save Ai, and made the ultimate sacrifice to stop Hikaru in order to protect his sister by suffering the worst death of all of them. Then finally Ruby. She too was traumatized by Ai's death, and then even more devastated when she found out Goro was killed because of Hikaru's instigation. Thanks to Aqua being Goro, Ruby was able to find a reason to live again, only for it to be snuffed out once Aqua took Hikaru down with them. I feel like that's like the definition of a bittersweet ending. Although people may not like how Aqua died, he still died, and it was still a tragedy. The surviving characters like Akane, Kana, and Ruby will carry that loss with them forever, but it's also thanks to Aqua that they were all able to move forward into a brighter future, even if it might not seem that way to them. My main concern was that Ruby would just get over Aqua's death, but this chapter made me realize she'll never get over it. Instead, she'll have to live with that for the rest of her life, and hide her pain through lies. Another thing that bothered me though was the lack of a Crow Girl appearance in this chapter. Apparently there will be a special chapter coming out with the special edition volume in December that will reveal a certain truth. Perhaps it might have something to do with the Crow Girl, but for now, the Crow Girl has been a fraud all the way until the end. Like, you can see her here asking Aqua what his mission is, but my question is, what the hell is her mission? She's literally asking this while watching Aqua drown below her feet, by the way. It seems Aqua's already moving on too though, as bro already got his next manga lined up for 2025. Bro must have been ready to move on. Anyways, if you made it this far, I just want to give a quick thanks to all of you who have supported the channel by watching these reviews. It's really been a fun ride, especially seeing everyone's reactions for each chapter, so I'm gonna miss that. But yeah, I hope you all at least enjoyed the series for what it was, and decide to stick around for more content from me. What did you all think of Oshi no Ko though? Did this final chapter raise or lower the series in your eyes? Let me know in the comments, and as always, thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please drop a like and subscribe. I got some Oshi no Ko content here too that you can check out. Peace.